Hey, welcome back to 3 poses a day for 30 days to relax the pelvic floor. I'm Tracy, and all of our postures today are laying on the back. We will do a figure 4, a knee to chest, and a reclined cobbler's pose. Props you might need: a blanket maybe if you need it behind your head for support, 2 yoga blocks, and I recommend a strap, but it's not really required. So pause the video, grab your gear, and we'll get started. First things first, let's come down onto the back, however you can do it safely. And we'll start with our figure 4 posture. With figure 4, I would invite you to keep the feet flat on the floor. Adjust the hips so that you can have the sacrum flat on the floor as well. And tuck the shoulder blades back so that your chest is raised slightly and the shoulders stay on the floor. Now with the feet hip distance apart, we'll raise the right foot, cross it over the left. And if this is enough of a stretch and your pelvis is still in neutral, meaning the sacrum is still flat on the floor, then that's fine. You could even press your hand on this outer thigh to deepen the stretch. You also have the option of lifting that left leg off the ground, either raising the foot all the way up straight, keeping that hip at 90 degrees, or bent, or at 90 yourself with the knee, whatever feels good. And if this is almost accessible to you, but not quite, you also have the option of grabbing your strap and using the strap behind the leg to give you some more support. So the key here, you want to make sure that your gaze is at the ceiling, your shoulders are on the floor, the sacrum's nice and flat, and you're doing what you need to do with this left foot, this left leg, to make sure that you have a nice stretch on that right outer hip. So let's come into this together. Nice deep inhale to start, and we'll exhale into whatever your version of the posture works best. Now remember, if there's a lot of space under the back, you're arching up, you have the option of putting a blanket under the head to bring the rib cage down. And we will stay here for 6 nice deep breaths. Remember, every inhale the chest rises, the rib cage expands, and the belly presses down toward the pelvic floor. Let's take one more deep breath together. And on the exhale, we'll release, bringing both feet back to the ground, and we'll switch sides. So now the right foot stays grounded on the floor, sacrum stays flat on the floor, left leg rises up and crosses over the left leg. Again, if this feels good, you're getting a stretch, don't go any further. You don't need to. This would be fine. If you have it accessible to you, of course, you can raise the right foot off the ground as long as the sacrum is still flat on the floor to help deepen the stretch. All right, find what feels good for you, and we'll be here for 6 more breaths. Let's take one more inhale. On the exhale, release the legs back to the ground. And we will transition into a knee to chest. So now I want you to start with both feet flat on the floor. We'll raise the right foot, and then we'll bring that hip to 90 degrees on the right side. And that right leg can be extended outward, nice and straight, or it can be bent, whatever feels most comfortable for you. But the key here is you want to keep the pelvis in neutral, meaning the sacrum's flat on the floor and that hip is at 90 degrees. You also have the option of extending that left leg outward. That works too. And you can also use a strap to help hold that leg and give support. Now the problem with coming all the way to the chest is a lot of times it rolls your bottom up off the ground, meaning the sacrum's not flat and the pelvis isn't in neutral. So I always cue in classes to be at 90. All right, let's have everyone come into this together. We'll start with the feet flat on the floor, shoulders and sacrum flat on the floor. We'll inhale together, and we will exhale, raising that right leg, using a strap if you need to, keeping that hip at 90 degrees. Extending the other leg if you'd want to, and we're here for 6 breaths. One more inhale together. And on the exhale, release that right leg. Bring both feet back to the floor, and we'll transition to the other side. So again, sacrum's flat on the floor, left leg lifts up. Hip is at 90 degrees, using your hands as support or the strap. Find what feels comfortable, and we'll be here for 6 more deep breaths. Really make sure the belly's moving with the breath. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll release the leg. And our last posture in our 3 posture set today will be Reclined Cobbler's pose. So I invite you to grab your blocks and set them on either sides of the legs. Zip the legs up together so the feet and knees are both together. And with the sacrum flat on the floor, slowly start allowing the legs to drop outward, bringing the soles of the feet together. Now, if you start doing this posture and you realize your knees are way up here and coming further down is not comfortable for you, don't worry. You're still getting all the benefits of someone who can go all the way to the ground. If your sacrum's flat on the floor and you're feeling the stretch on the inner leg, you can adjust your blocks and even hold the blocks if you need to, if they're falling, so that you can rest to give support and not feel so much strain while you're stretching. And then you can play with the height of the blocks, make what adjustments you need, moving the blocks closer or further away. But just make sure that you're supported and the sacrum is flat on the floor to make sure that your pelvis stays in neutral. Find a comfortable position for your body, bringing the heels closer or further away. And I invite you to rest the palms of your hands on your belly to really feel the motion. So every inhale, the belly rises. And every exhale, the belly drops. I invite you to bring your gaze to the ceiling, relax the shoulders, and we'll be here for 6 more breaths. Let's take one more inhale together, big breath. And on the exhale, use your fingers to help guide the legs back together. Extend both legs out into a quick Shavasana, just helping the hips reset. And that is it for class 16. I hope you enjoyed it. You're more than halfway through the series and you're doing great. So I will see you hopefully tomorrow for class 17. Have a wonderful day, and I wish you well. Namaste.